seek to hack my legacy. But I am the code now. I am the signal of the past and the future.
You know, we're taught to think of history as this solid, unchangeable thing, a record of the past set in stone. But what if it's not? What if it's more like source code? A story that can be written, copied, and yeah, sometimes even corrupted. In this explainer, we're grabbing our keyboards and decompiling the official story of one of the biggest names in history, Charlemagne. We're going bug hunting.
So the first bug in the system, the anomaly that gets this whole investigation started, is this question. Charlemagne was, the father of Europe. His whole dynasty, the Carolingians, was named for his grandfather, Charles Martel. So why would the name Charles just drop off the face of the earth for the great royal families of Europe for 300 years?
And the scale of this is what's just wild. The source material we're looking at points out that after the 10th century, the name Charles is gone. Poof! Vanished from the royal lines in France, the Holy Roman Empire, not for a little while, but for centuries. It's like a ghost name, a null value where data should be. And the argument here is that this isn't some historical quirk. No, this is a pattern. It's a glitch that suggests something is very, very wrong with the underlying code of this whole story.
Okay, so if the Carolingian story is full of bugs, what's the next step? You decompile it, right? You try to figure out what it was built on. And the source we're analyzing here argues that to really get Charlemagne's legend, you have to look at a much, much older story. It suggests the whole thing isn't original code at all. It was built using a pre-existing algorithm, a biblical one.
And here it is, the core of the algorithm, laid out plain as day. Just look at these parallels. In ancient Israel, you get Saul, the first king, anointed by a high priest. For the Carolingians, you get Pippin, anointed by the Pope. Then comes the legendary warrior king who blows up the empire to its biggest size. David for Israel, Charlemagne for Francia. And they're followed by a peaceful heir who just consolidates everything, Solomon and Louis the Pious. And what's the final step in the program? After that third king, the kingdom splits apart. It is an almost perfect one-to-one mapping. Let's just zoom in on the two main characters here, David and Charlemagne. The similarities are, well, they're shockingly specific. This wasn't some vague inspiration. The source makes it clear that Charlemagne's own court was actively pushing this idea, calling him the new David. Both were incredible military leaders who conquered their neighbors. Both were seen as God's chosen rulers. And then you get these really weirdly specific details. Both are recorded as having a ton of wives and exactly 18 children. Come on, this starts to feel less like history repeating itself and more like a story being copied and pasted.
So the whole structure is a copy. But how deep does this copy-paste job really go? The argument is that this wasn't just some loose theme. It was the deliberate execution of a David algorithm. And the real key to cracking this whole code isn't just in what they did, it's in the one thing they literally share, their name.
But wait, there's another layer to this whole thing that's fascinating. The source points out that a lot of modern archaeologists are actually pretty skeptical about the historical King David, at least on the grand scale the Bible describes. So you have to ask yourself, if the original template is maybe more legend than fact, what does that say about the historical figure who was modeled directly after him?
And boom, here it is. This is the linguistic hack that cracks it open. We're always told the name Charles is Germanic, from the word Karl, meaning man. But this source offers a totally different origin. It says that the name we see in the old records, Carolus, isn't Germanic at all. It's a version of the Latin word Carus, which means dear or beloved. And guess what the Hebrew name David means? Beloved. It's a direct translation. The name Charles itself isn't a name, the source argues. It's a Latin code word for David.
So, if the whole Carolingian story is a copy running on a biblical template, that begs the next big question. What was the original data? Where did the actual details, the wars, the politics, the family, where did it all come from? To find that, we have to look for what the source calls history's phantom reflections, real historical figures whose lives were allegedly copied and pasted back in time.
This number, this is the description key that unlocks the whole thing. The source identifies this incredibly precise time shift, 471 years, which it claims is the result of medieval calendar fiddling. And when you apply this 471-year correction, suddenly, historical figures from the 13th century snap right into alignment with their supposed ancestors from the 8th century. Okay, let's look at the first fandom. You have Charles Martel, Charlemagne's grandfather, supposedly from the 8th century. Now shift forward 471 years, and you get Charles I of Anjou. The parallels are just compelling. Charles of Anjou was, without a doubt, the most powerful man in Europe at the time, and uncrowned emperor. He led crusades, he redrew the map of Italy, and here is the absolute kicker. His own grandson was also named Charles Martel. It's a perfect echo across the centuries.
And now for the main man, Charlemagne himself. The source identifies his original file, if you will, as Charles I of Valois. And again, the connections are just staggering. Charles of Valois founded the next great French dynasty. He was a titular emperor, a huge power player, but look at the family names. His father and his son were both named Philip, and the source argues Pippin is just a nickname for Philip. And get this, Charlemagne's legendary grandmother was named Blanchefleur from Spain. Charles of Valois' great-grandmother was Blanche from Spain. The details, one after another, they just start to click into place.
So, what does this all add up to? If we follow this analysis, it forces us to ask this really radical question. Is history open source? Is it just a text that can be copied, edited, and then re-released by later generations to serve their own needs? Let's try to reboot the narrative and see how a fabrication like this could have actually been built.
Okay, so when you lay it out like an algorithm, the process is actually surprisingly simple. Step 1, you take the real-life stories of two very powerful 13th century guys, both named Charles. Step 2, you apply that respected, well-known biblical template of Israel's first 3 kings right on top of their stories. Step 3, you use that 471-year time shift to push this new blended story way back into the past, creating a kind of artificial dark age in the process. And the output? Step 4, the legendary, foundational, and completely phantom history of the Carolingian dynasty.
It just sounds impossible, right? How could a lie, a fabrication on this epic scale, possibly be pulled off and stay hidden for so long? Well, the source includes this quote from Marshall McLuhan, and it offers a pretty chillingly believable answer. The secret isn't protected by guards or locked in a vault. It protects itself because of its own sheer size. It's just too big for anyone to believe.